Islands are special places. They're places unto themselves. And when you grow up on one, there is this feeling like I live on an island, and there's something special about it. I'm sure that is part of my work and informs everything that I have made. And I always felt supported by my community. I always felt like I had a voice that was worth hearing, because the art in my community is the art of community. When I was doing research for Herkavagrant, I'd often go to libraries. I lived in lots of different places. I lived in Toronto, Victoria, Halifax. I lived in New York, many different moves. And what I say I'm missing, I lived in St. John's for a while. So I couldn't even tell you the different library branches that I would be around, but that would be one of my favorite places to go and work. You would just go around the stacks or something like that, and it would be something new every time. Nobody was untouchable. That people were going to be human beings no matter what they did. That they were just going to act like human beings do, which is make mistakes, be imperfect. And I began to look at history that way as well. I would draw these historical figures, and they would have imperfect characteristics because they were all human beings. And I'm interested in all this stuff and how we tell stories and how we look at the past and how we've engaged with the past and how we've looked at historical figures. And I do find that if you're laughing, you're already learning, and you're interested. At the time when I was coming up, it was a given that you were going to leave and you were going to feel sad about it. And of course, as soon as you leave, you're pining for home. I wanted to be an artist from a very young age. That was always an end goal for me. But it's difficult being from a small place and a fairly poor place as well that doesn't have the resources to produce artists, because the arts is packed with far more people who come from wealth than not. It's far better in the eyes of the working class person to take a safe road. If we don't have more working class voices, then we are missing a lot of people who make up what we consider the culture of this country to be. That is what art in this country is. It is what we eventually accept as our culture. And so when we don't talk about class, we are missing something very important in the metric of diversity in Canada. And if they all come from money, then we are leaving out an entire swath. And in fact, a majority of people in our country who just have less. And that's a terrible price to pay. I'm from a community that has always valued art. You're in a space right now that promotes art for no money, for joy, for community, for telling its own stories. The value that people have on art for its own sake here is priceless. And I benefited from that immensely. I moved back home, and one of the first things that I did was join this society to keep the doors open, because it is for people to use. And that is the spirit of a library and archive.